Hey everyone, my name is Kayla Morton. I'm the sports editor at the East Carolinian. Welcome to the fall version of TECSperts for East Carolina's football team. This is Aaron Jackson. He's the football editor for the East Carolinian and a beat writer for football. This is Tyler Gavin, and he is the other football beat writer this semester. Hey everyone, welcome to week 4 of TECSperts. We're going to be recapping ECU's first win of the season against UConn last Sunday and previewing their home game against South Florida this weekend. So starting talking about UConn last game, Thomas Sirk was the victorious quarterback. What were some of the strengths and weaknesses that you guys saw from that game?
Well, Thomas Sirk looked pretty accurate. He was 30 for 39 the whole game, threw over almost 400 yards, and he looked like the quarterback everybody expected him to be coming from Duke.
Yeah, it looks like they finally have a system in place for him now. Without Jimmy Williams, he was out sick last week. They focused on a lot of short passes, and it ended up working out that Sirk completed his first 11 passes of the game.
And that was a record for him also. So in the game, did you see any weaknesses that came from him?
Late towards the end of the game, it might have not just been Sirk, it could have been just the whole offense. Just the offense got a little bit stagnant, and the defense kind of toughened up and tightened down on what they were doing.
Yeah, the offense definitely stalled down the stretch, but ball control was a huge plus. So really no real weaknesses, but it was a really weak UConn defense.
Gotcha. So you mentioned Jimmy Williams was out sick last week. Do you happen to know the status of him for this game?
It looks like he's going to be back. Coach Montgomery said that he was out sick, throwing up before the game last week, but he should be back for this week.
So then on the flip side of that, does ECU even need him with his poor performances this year, not really stepping up, showing out? Do you think he's going to be a factor in this game? Do they really need him to even play if he's not feeling 100%?
I don't think he will be a factor in the game, but I think he has the chance to be a factor in the game. And if he doesn't do anything, he will be the decoy on the other side of the field that the defense will pay attention to, allowing Quay Johnson, DeAndre Ferrier, Davon Grayson to get open.
Yeah, it just provides the other wide receivers more protection.
Gotcha. So Hussein Howell and Darrell Scott, ECU's running backs, had over 170 yards last week. Both found the end zone. We were talking about how UConn's defense really isn't that stellar, just like ECU's defense. So was that like a lucky game for them, or do you think they're going to repeat any kind of performance like that this week?
They both had good, productive runs. They did have a good day on the ground, but USF defense is a little bit tougher. So I expect them to stop that, and I think ECU is going to have about 80 yards rushing on the day.
What I really liked was that it was a group effort. It was more than just two running backs. The ECU offense finally ran the ball more than they threw it. They ran it 47 times as a team compared to only 39 throws.
Right.
And another thing, Thomas Sirk at quarterback opened up that rushing game.
Yeah.
So transitioning to undefeated South Florida, they lead the American and the NCAA with 12 interceptions on the year through 4 games. What kind of problems are they going to cause for ECU this weekend?
Well, they'll definitely cause some problems at cornerback. Dietrich, he's one of their defensive backs. Dietrich Nichols, he caught 2 interceptions in the Temple game, and if Sirk comes out not on his A game, expect for him to catch maybe one more.
Yeah, they get a lot of pressure up front, and it forces a lot of quick throws, and Temple obviously struggled with it last week, and if the offensive line doesn't step up like the Temple offensive line couldn't, ECU might be in for a long day.
Gotcha. So defensive and defensive tackles Mike Love and Bruce Hector for the Bulls were highlighted not only by Mo, but just kind of by college football in general. What are they going to bring to the Bulls this weekend?
The D tackles and D ends for USF are going to pose a big threat for the ECU's offensive line because they've been struggling all year with JMU, VTech, West Virginia, and they just have to get it together, and they got to buck up and hit them first.
Yeah, first-year coach Charlie Strong has talked a lot about his 2 lines. Their offensive line and defensive line are 2 huge strong points for the Bulls, and obviously the East Carolina lines have been a little slacking. So if they can get established, it'll be short offense for ECU and a long open holes for the Bulls.
And Charles Strong's come from a well-established program.
Yeah, he's coached a lot of good players in the past.
What has he brought to USF this season so far?
His mentality has been great. I've seen him talk to a lot of reporters on the sidelines, and his the personality he gives off it puts the players in a greater position.
Yeah, he's definitely brought an attitude to that team. They're already 4-0, and they've kind of pushed down the gas past everybody so far.
Gotcha. So linebacker Augie Sanchez for the Bulls was linebacker of the year candidate last year. He's kind of lacked in performance is what he had last year to this season, but he is on Coach Mo's radar. He talked about him in his press conference. Was he just saying his name to say it, or does he think he's going to pose a threat during the game?
I believe he's just the captain. He's a veteran on the defense. He's going to be there. He's going to be calling out plays, and he's going to be around the ball. He might not make all the tackles, but he will be there.
Yeah, Coach Mo definitely saw a lot from him last year. Last year, he's the middle linebacker. He's a team leader. And last year, he had 120 tackles for the Bulls, which is one shy of their program record.
So Tyler, talk to me a little about Quentin Flowers, the quarterback for the Bulls. Why is he their powerhouse? And he was also voted preseason American Player of the Year.
Well, he's coming back as the offensive player of the year last year. He set the record for most passing yards and rushing yards in USF history. But ECU did a really good job containing dual threat Josh Jackson and Virginia Tech, even though they didn't contain much else. So I think Flowers might be able to beat them with their arm, which he hasn't done yet this year, but he has really the threat both ways.
Another fun fact, Flowers has more rushing yards than any other quarterback in FBS other than Lamar Jackson. So that is something to worry about.
Gotcha. So talking about the run game, Dearness Johnson and Darius Tice, they've had a strong impact scoring and moving the ball down the field for the Bulls. What are they going to bring into this game?
Well, if you want to talk about running, you got to throw Flowers in there too. All three of them have had 300 yards rushing in throughout the 4 games this season, and they've combined for at least 8 touchdowns, at least I think. Yeah. And they're big, stocky, and they can move.
Yeah, they rank 9th right now in college football in rushing yards, and they rank 3rd in rushing yards allowed on defense, and them and Alabama are the only 2 in the top 10 both.
Gotcha. So moving on to score predictions this weekend, Tyler, you have ECU scoring the least amount of points in a USF victory of 37-10. Why is that?
I don't think Thomas Sirk will get the time he needs to set up a credible offense. The Pirates were able to establish a run game because of how often they ran it against a weak UConn team. They're not going to have that luxury this week. They'll get down early, and they'll be throwing the ball to try to get back into it.
Which will cause interceptions.
Yes.
Aaron and I both have really similar scores. He has a 2-point difference from mine, 44-27 Bulls victory. Why is that?
Well, I think Flowers will be too much to handle. The USF will get off to a slow start, but in recent games they do pick up after halftime, and after halftime ECU tends to slow down. So it's going to be a tough game for ECU to handle all the running, but I expect Quentin Flowers to actually get a few touchdowns in there at the Scatman.
And then I have my prediction at 46-27. We didn't hit on the lack of special teams that the Bulls have. Their kicker has missed extra points, has missed field goals. I think they do score a lot of touchdowns on the day, but I will think that he misses 2 extra points on those attempts, but he will make a couple of field goals even if he does miss some. But talking about Quentin Flowers for sure, he majors in interdisciplinary social science, something that we had to look up what it was. That's a major that basically says, I'm here to go to the NFL. He's here to play football and nothing else. He's going to run that offense. This game should be close until the 3rd, though, but then the Bulls will
pull away.
So that game does take place at noon on Saturday in Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. We'll review that next week in our 5th edition of TECSperts.